A lot of my clients come to see me with hip pain and low back pain. It's very common. And while, of course, I can't know what's going on with you through the computer, I can offer some general helpful suggestions for stretching the hip and relieving some of the low back pain. There is a lot going on in the hip, a lot of muscles, tendons, ligaments, bones all fitting together and having to cooperate. But for general discomfort, I can offer the following stretch. You've probably seen it before, the figure 4 stretch. It's sometimes called, and in yoga sometimes it's called pigeon. So you simply, if you can do this sitting, you can do this sitting in a desk chair, you can do it on a couch, whatever's comfortable for you. You take one leg, cross it over, and notice it's not my ankle on top of my thigh, but the lowest part of my shin is on top of my thigh. So the foot is completely clear of the thigh. And in this position, your knee might be higher or lower than mine. In order to stretch the hip, you take a little or a big lean forward. It doesn't take much of a lean to feel a big stretch here. And if you wanted to work a little harder, or if after a couple of breaths it becomes comfortable, then all you have to do is flex this foot that is suspended off of the floor, and then you'll be stretching the hip even more. So you don't have to strain to reach forward. Your shoulders should be relaxed away from your ears. All the muscles of your face should soften. If you can't relax your shoulders and can't relax your face, then you're working too hard, and don't do that. And if it's easy for you to get up and down off of the floor, then there is a variation for this on the floor. Simply lie down. And of course, it's the same thing. We cross one leg over the other thigh. And again, my foot, you'll see on this side, my foot is going to be clear of my thigh. My ankle is not touching my thigh bone, if that's possible for you. So this might be a stretch for you right here, in which case you would just pause and take a couple of deep breaths. If it's possible, you bring the opposite knee towards your chest. Your hands can just lace through and grab either the back of the thigh or the shin, wherever they comfortably reach. Take a couple of breaths, and again, to increase the stretch, if that feels right for you, then the foot that's suspended here gets flexed, meaning the toes pull back. So, of course, don't overdo it. Try to keep your shoulders towards the floor. Try to keep both hips on the floor. So when you lift this knee up, you don't want to be leaning over to the side. You're trying to stay flat on the floor, muscles of the face resting, shoulders resting, and just take a couple of deep breaths until it feels like the tissue in your hip feels okay with this stretch. And another thing that's good for general hip and low back pain is strengthening the muscles of the legs, the hamstrings and the glutes especially. Again, if it's comfortable for you to be on the floor, then the hands go flat, knees are bent. You lift the hips up. It doesn't have to be a high lift. You'll switch the weight from one foot to the other. So one foot will come up off of the floor. And you can straighten the leg up towards the ceiling, but that's not necessary. You can simply reach down and lift the knee up. So extending and then bringing in one foot while balancing on the other. As I switch sides, you'll see that the leg that is on the floor, the foot that's on the floor, is doing all the work, and that's where you'll feel the hamstrings and the glutes working very hard to support you. After you've done a couple, you rest, bring your knees in towards your chest, hug them close, give yourself a little rock side to side, and hopefully you'll find that helpful. Thanks so much. Have a great day.